Welcome to Island Express Hardware, where we work with your budget. We supply all paints, all brands, and all sizes. And we are, of course, the cheapest in Trinidad. We also supply pumps and water tanks, and we also have them in combo deals. Visit us for the best friendly customer service. Need steel, beams, and purlins? We got that. We have top quality lats and boxing board, plyboards, gypsum boards, you name it. Do you love to fish? Have no fear, cause we have all the gears. Visit Island Express Hardware today, located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas. Welcome to Felicity Banquet Hall, where unforgettable memories are made. Whether you're planning a wedding, birthday party, corporate meeting, or any special gathering. Why choose us? We are spacious, elegant, and fully air-conditioned hall. Customizable seating for up to 200 guests. Beautiful decor and lighting options. On-site kitchen and catering services. We are available 7 days a week. Located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas. Call the number on the screen today and book now. Visit Island Express today to get your vinyl, your toilet sets, your doors, and also your windows. We supply all items, foundation to finish. Visit us today at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas. You can also call us at 705-1800 or 308-5318. Welcome to Island Express Hardware, where we work with your budget. We supply all paints, all brands, and all sizes. And we are, of course, the cheapest in Trinidad. We also supply pumps and water tanks, and we also have them in combo deals. Visit us for the best friendly customer service. Need steel, beams, and purlins? We got that. We have top quality lats and boxing board, plyboards, gypsum boards, you name it. Do you love to fish? Have no fear, cause we have all the gears. Visit Island Express Hardware today, located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas.
Okay, my friends, a pleasant good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Those of you who are locked on, those of you who have been anticipating our program Hardfacts that is aired on Sentinel Media Broadcasting live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. My friends, I want to welcome you all to our program, our Saturday's program here today in our area. Those of you who are locked on again, my friends, feel free, share this video, let others know that they can call us at 372-2129. Let us know what is taking place in your neck of the woods. Whatever has transpired during the course of the week. And we're going to reiterate our program here today, my friends. Our program is a program whereby you as an individual, you have the voice. You have a voice where you can identify some of the anomalies that is being taken place in front of your eyes in your communities. And let John Public know that, you know, we can really and truly join together and bring some betterment to our country, Trinidad and Tobago. So those of you who are locked on, those of you who are in the Caribbean islands, those of you who are in North America, South America, and different parts of the world, my friends, I want to take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you all to our program, Hardfacts. My friends, Trinidad and Tobago, really and truly, we have a new government in motion, if you want to call it that. And I'll tell you something, a lot of things has been transpiring, a lot of things has been happening in our country, and really and truly, we are seeing the government, the new government, really and truly is working, and they are identifying some of the atrocities. And really and truly today, when you, those of you who are locked on, you watch, you look and see really and truly the neglect that took place for the past 10 years. You're going to realize, my friends, that hey, something really and truly adverse took place under the watchful eyes of you, the citizens, and our representative who was supposed to be watching and identifying and really and truly highlighting relevant issues that took place and is taking place in this present time. So again, Trinidad and Tobago, I am your host, Imam Rashid Karim. And I want to welcome each and every one of you, those of you having your lunch break, those of you who are working in the private sector, those of you who are working in the government sector, namely the hospitals, the protective services and all those things. You know for a fact that you all don't get holidays. You all work the dead man shift. You all work 7 days per week, rotating shifts and so forth. So I want to welcome you all to the program. And those of you who really and truly have something that you want to speak about, whether it is part of the itinerary of our program here today, or you would like to change the itinerary by calling and letting us know what really and truly is taking place, you can call that number 372-2129. Wednesday. We are talking about Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just 3 days apart. And when you look at the murder rate and you look at the, you know, the escalation in crime in our country, my friends, I tell you something, the exact thing that the Honorable Kamal Prasad Bisesa mentioned earlier, you know what, reload the matic and empty the clip. Those things are coming into fusion now, and people, my friends, really and truly, they are going to take that offer, take up that offer and apply for the legitimate firearms. Because I tell you something, friends, Trinidad and Tobago, those of you, colleagues, those of you who are watching, you're going to realize when we highlight the issues, you're going to realize that a lot of things has happened from Wednesday till today. Now, I told you all before, and I'm going to continue telling you all that when the United National Congress was in opposition, clarion call were made to join protests and, you know, really and truly highlight the atrocities that has been plaguing the country under the watchful eyes of the government of the day. And really and truly, not many people came out and protest. We never had, you know, a national protest as such, or a protest that would have, you know, caused the country to grind to the ground. We never had protests like that. But again, the government is in power approximately 32 days now. And my friends, 4 protest action already took place. Director, you have those protest actions? 4 protest action took place in the space of 32 days. And we are talking about, you know, government is now kicking in. Government is now really and truly understanding the books, identifying the, you know, the shortcomings and so many things. And we have already seen, my friends, 4 protest action took place within the space of 32 days. And I tell you something, that is only a drop in the bucket. Because I tell you, when UNC is in power, you're going to realize that every person who were really and truly quiet and they were dormant and were sleeping behind the steering, is somehow or the other, they get this power, they get this strength to come out and protest and talk and lambaste the government of the day. And that has been in the past. Anybody who looking on, you would realize that that has been in the past. From 2010 to 2015, a lot of protest action took place. Individual protesters, collective protesters, bargaining chips and bargaining powers. We saw union protests, and you name it, we saw the protests from 2010 to 2015. And from 2015, my friends, from 2015 till 2025, we hardly saw any protest action taking place. And the government of the day, they had the monies, they spent approximately $600 billion, close to $1 trillion. They spend that, and you know something? We, the citizens of this country, really and truly never benefit with that kind of spending. And now we are seeing the government, the United National Congress government is now kicking in, and you are seeing a lot of protests start already. And it clearly indicates something. It indicates something that, you know what, people don't like proper representation. They don't like proper representation. Because here it is, we are seeing the government, we are seeing the ministers on the ground. Something that we never saw in the past. We are seeing ministers going down on the ground and loading trucks with brushes and all these things. We are seeing ministers going down and meeting the people. Like, for example, and you know what I really and truly admire about Jolene John? Jolene John, those of you who know Jolene John, you're going to realize she's a kind of hardcore woman. A hardcore woman in the sense that if she tells us she come in, she come in. And she clearly indicates, because I tell you something, that is not in the political minds of many people. People will tell you, yes, I'm coming, and you never see them after 5 years, then you may see them if they contest in the election again. That is something that we told you all on this program. This is a real program, this is a live program. This program, my friends, we don't malign the character of anyone. We don't discriminate against anyone. We tell you, we call it as we see it. We call a spade a spade. We call a spade a spade, and that is what we have been doing. We were saying this, as long as the United National Congress is in power, you're going to see 1,001 different protest action taking place. And you and I have to really and truly stand side by side with the government. Now, I'm telling you this. If the government is not acting according to what their manifesto have dictated, then again, nothing is wrong, protest. But here it is, you are seeing this. You are seeing whatever the manifesto have really and truly draft upon. For example, the property tax. For example, those persons, you know, those persons who believe that, you know, they are entitled to a firearm for protection for their families, and they're, you know, traversing the pathways and doing business and so forth, they have that opportunity to go ahead and do this stuff. We have been calling on this program, and those of you who are locked on, we have ardent fans. We have people who really and truly have been watching our program from the inception. And we have seen and we have been asking the Commissioner of Police, what do we do if somebody invade, or, you know, they come in your home, right? And we rightly saw the Minister of Homeland Security, he drew a real example of what we were saying. Director, you could pull that video. Pull that video for me, and I want you all, those of you who are locked on, watch this video, and it clearly indicates that the government of the day means what they have said. They mean what they have said. They are identifying if people come in your home like that. They invade your home at the wee hours of the morning, and they, you know, they try to maybe take your possession, and you are in the, you know, you are in possession of a licensed firearm. You are in possession of a licensed firearm. You have the prerogative to use it on those people who came into your home, right? To deprive you of your sanity, to deprive you and your family of peace and tranquility, and even so much so of your belongings. You have the video, Director? Pull it up.
I know many of the reporters here.
So those of you...
My name. And I know over the years they would have interviewed several persons who would have experienced a home invasion. Officer, is there a light there? Just click the light off. Let me show you something. Just take the light off for a minute. All right? Let's imagine there was no light here, and you lie down on your bed comfortable at night. Your family among you, your children, as the case may be, the elderly, and somebody's, you hear, BRAM! And next thing you know, your doors kick in. And people, you're scrambling out and so, who's that, because you're answering. And then somebody roots you off the top of your bed, sometimes by your hair, by your legs. Say, lie down on the ground. Where the money? Where's the jewelry? And they're asking questions. The woman will be screaming, many a time screaming. And then sometimes they look for the youngest one, or maybe the oldest one, and to take her away from everybody else. And you hear screaming. They tie you up sometimes, you hear screaming, and you could do nothing. And you hear your either your mother or your wife or your daughter's going, "No, go on, don't do me that. Please don't do me that. Now, please don't do me that." And you hear, "Whoop, shut up." Kick in the head. Where the money? And then sometimes you hear a moment of silence. And you're wondering, is that the end of the person who just took upstairs? And then a short time after, they might come back downstairs because they have time on their hand to play all over the home, because that home no longer belongs to you.
Friends, that is exactly, you know, a scenario that has been played out. That is normally, and the guy who is speaking there, the guy who is Roger Alexander, right? And you would realize that his position in the TTPS was at a certain level and a certain rank. And when you really and truly listen to the description, you're going to realize that a lot of those things really and truly happened in the past, because normally they would grab you by your hair. That's a weak point. They will grab you by your feet and pelt you off the bed or wherever you are. And exactly the descriptive that he used. But the point that I want to raise here is, what can you and I, as legitimate users and holders of firearm license, can we use that? Can we use that? Or will it be undue force or things like that? Because I know something, the law, I told you all this, having a legitimate firearm is one. Just recently we saw something on the social media. It was on national media also, where a neighbor was attacked. You know, a neighbor was attacked by a person with a knife, and that individual, he raised an alarm and he fired some warning shots. And still, when the police came for their investigation, the first thing they have to do is to take your firearm away from you, and investigation will begin. So again, people might feel, you know, having a firearm is protection. Yes, it is protection. But again, you have to understand the nitty-gritty. You have to understand the laws. You have to understand how to use a firearm. You have to go and train. You have to do a lot of things. So having a firearm is just not drawing it and shooting somebody. But my point here and my question that we have been asking over and over and over, we need to find out, and we are calling on the Minister of Homeland Security, right? Mr. Roger Alexander, Minister Roger Alexander. We need you all, you know what, to draft up a mandate, because maybe, I'll tell you something, it could be used vice versa, in the sense that maybe if it's one person being shot in a home, maybe you could really and truly try to understand it is undue stress or undue force or whatever, right? But when you as an individual, we need to have something drafted out that if you find or you see many persons entering your premises, automatically that means that these people are up to no good. So at that point in time, when you see those people entering your premises, you need to draw your weapon, keep it loaded, put things in the chamber, and get your act together waiting to use it on the miscreant that is entering your home. Once it's more than 1, 2, 3 people, right? And we would like to get that kind of information. How would you classify, you know, undue force or over force when it comes to people attacking you in your homes in the wee hours of the morning or entering your business place? We need to have, you know, we need to have a public forum where, you know, firearm users can come and we can be able to deal with you, the minister, or your associates in a manner where questions could be asked and information could be shared. And people, my friends, could be able now to understand, well, this is your right. This is your right as a citizen of this country and a legitimate person who have a firearm. This is your right. This is how you can use it, and this is how you are not supposed to use it. And this is what we are looking for. People are calling me and asking me, Imam, bring up this thing there, bring up this thing in your show, because it is really, really important for the lay citizen, because people are going up there, they are identifying a lot of women, as you saw last week in the newspaper, a lot of women applying for a firearm. It clearly indicates that, you know, they feel threatened in this society that we are living in, especially if they have a business. And we saw that recently, and I gave you examples. 2 businesswomen were shot and killed. One was a hardware owner daughter, and we saw again another one, a cell phone owner daughter was shot up. And recently again, we saw drive-by shooting taking place. You know something, we need to have a certain amount of idea what we can do and how we can do it and when we can do it. How, when, and where. That is most important, because it is in the mandate. It is in the book when you apply for a firearm. It is in the legislation. But again, people really and truly don't go and read the fine print. And that is something that they need to be educated. They need to be schooled. People need to be schooled. Yes, you're applying for your firearm. You have to know how to use it. You have to go and train in a different academy. And you have to do these things. So Trinidad and Tobago, my friends, the crime rate in our country is really and truly escalating. I don't know why. I don't know why it is happening like that, but again, the government of the day has promised that they are going to do their best. They are going to do their best. Why? Because they would like the citizens of our country to remain here and feel safe, and they can try, do their business and their trade and what have you. But again, my friends, when we look, director, pull up those videos and let us look at the statistics of crime, because crime is the most integral. Once a person or a country or citizen in a country can feel safe, my friends, that is most important. Now tell us something. This rideshare driver released after praying for his abductors. Now listen carefully. There's a lot of people outside there who are not working, and they're making their ends meet by maybe using their vehicle as a transport, a mode of transport, so that they can be able to maybe get some extra finance to assist in their homes and take care of the responsibility as a father, as a son, as a brother, as whatever. But again, my friends, there are people outside there. You are not safe. Just imagine that guy. He received a call. Here what? We would like to go to the airport, right? We would like to go to the airport. How much are you're going to charge me from Barataria to Piaco? maybe a figure was mentioned, $200-300, and they will make it look lucrative. Okay, we will give you 500. So the individual now, his guards are dropped, and he's ready to go and perform his duty so that he can collect a little money, not knowing that these people there, these people outside there, they are going to do whatever it is taken. Last week, or the week before, 2 weeks ago, right, we saw one individual. He was a handicapped person. He was a sick person, right? And imagine this. He was a sick person. That's the reason why people like that, when you catch those people, you know what? You let them rot in jail. Let them rot in jail. And if the crime demands, right, corporal punishment, let it be so. Because this guy is a invalid, if you want to call, a handicapped person. And he's still making effort. He's driving a taxi, a PH vehicle, whatever, and he's going to pick up people and drop them to and from work. And somebody boarded his taxi. You saw it in the papers. You saw it in the papers. The guy name was, I think, was Shafayat Ali, right? And his funeral took place during the course of this week. But the point I am making, there are people who are heartless outside here. They don't care anything. All their concern is with themselves, their families. I remember telling you this, I remember telling you this in one of my contributions here on this program, Hard Facts, where a group of people invaded a home, right? And when they invaded that home, one of the bandits was heard, the person who was tied up, he heard the conversation. He heard the conversation that one of the bandits was speaking to his girlfriend. And he was telling his girlfriend, love or darling or whatever, that, you know, we have some nice stuff. We collected some nice stuff. This is how this world has reached. This is how our country have reached right now. They are communicating with their loved ones and it has no morality. They're lacking morality. And you know something? You know what? This get me damn vexed. I tell you all, we had something called Indian Arrival Day yesterday. Nothing wrong if people want to celebrate Indian Arrival Day with their festival and their culture and whatever. That's their business. They are criticizing. People go outside there and they criticize. Oh, a man called me. Listen what a man tell me. A man tell me, Imam, that is not Indian Arrival Day. That is Hindu Arrival Day. You understand? This is how people are thinking outside there. Let me tell you all something. If you all don't want to participate in whatever situation that's taking place, all you have to do is move out from there and stay quiet. Let the people do what they want to do. Let them enjoy, let them benefit, let them develop themselves culturally or whatever. But you come here to create a confusion and you telling me this. And I'm telling you, Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of people, when we look at Arrival Day, Indian Arrival Day, the functions and celebrations and so forth, it's a simple thing. If you get you get an invitation to go, and you feel that doesn't really and truly augur well with you, right? It doesn't augur well with you because maybe you don't want to be a part and parcel of that. Nothing is wrong. Stay away from it. But again, you don't have to go and tell people, well, look, you know, this, that, and start criticizing these people. No, don't do that. That is the reason why when we look at Arrival Day that took place yesterday is a day of reflection. People don't understand these things. It is a day of reflection. Look at David Lee. David Lee is a Chinese, right? And let me tell you something. He's doing something. It's Indian Arrival Day. I mean, he's a minister, yes. But again, look at the concept, what they are doing. You show me what they are doing that is so negative. They are, remembering, they are reflecting, and they are giving out some little gifts and so forth. Nothing is wrong with that. But you know something? People they would never look at the log in their own eyes. But they would look at the toothpick in the next person's eyes. And that is what Imam Rashid Karim, does get vexed for. You understand? They could see all the negative in the next person. But they cannot see the negative in their own self. You understand? So my friends, those of you who are locked on, feel free. The number 372-2129. Maybe if you would like to talk about Arrival Day. It's good because I'll tell you something. I am living in Trinidad and Tobago. It's a multicultural, multiracial, right? It's a country that, people would die to be here right now. The people in the Gaza, right? Anyway in this world is better than the situation that is prevailing right now. They would appreciate our country more. That's the reason why, I always tell people this. When a certain fruit in season, people don't have the appetite to eat it. What did was I was passing, right? I was passing by one home. And when I look under that house and I saw the quantity of watermelon, I'm talking about maybe 100,000 pounds of watermelon, right? And I tell you something, watermelon selling cheap. The price that watermelon is selling right now, it is lower than the price it costs to produce. So now is the time you all have to take advantage, utilize it, benefit from it, eat as much as possible. And when the watermelon go back to $5 or $6 a pound, don't complain. You know, when you get it free, like I tell a guy again, I say tomatoes has be $20 sometimes. And then it will be 5 pounds for $20. Why can't you take advantage of it when it is 5 pounds for 20? And when it reaches to $20 a pound, maybe you buy less. Or if you want to stay away, that's your business. But I tell you something, in our country, Trinidad and Tobago, there are people who can only see negative. They can't see nobody else positive. And when they do something, I want you all to listen. Those of you who are on TikTok, those of you on YouTube, you understand? What sells is pornography. What sells in this country and what sells in the world is pornography. You understand? You come outside here and you tell people something, I'm religiously oriented or culturally oriented, or you tell them something that is good, or you invite them to something that is good. They don't really care. They don't even subscribe. They don't even give you a like. You understand? They don't even do that. But let me tell you something. Somebody put some nude photo or half nude photo, you know something, they get millions of views. That is how our society have evolved. You know what? The invitation or the dawah or the advertising really and truly is geared on one scheme, how we can distract the people of this world and put negative thoughts in their mind. My friends, those of you who are locked on, I'm going to take my first break and I want to ask you all, I want to invite you all to join me at 372-2129. Let's have a communication. Call me and let us understand what really and truly is going on in your area, in your neck of the woods. Because I tell you something, let me tell you, Director, hold back the break. Let me talk about this criminal elements, and maybe I could really and truly induce you to call that number 37221, because a lot of people are scared. They are scared out of their wits. They don't even want to make a phone call. You understand? And when they do make a phone call, it's either some negative they're going to say. You could call the station and talk about the situation. Maybe you could uplift the government. Maybe you could talk, like for example, we saw the past Minister of National Security. He went to Temple Street where the office, his past office was. And everybody is worried and want to know what's going on. You understand? Did anybody really and truly ask Fitzgerald Hines, hey, what you went there for? What did you go there for? Right? I tell you something, the government changed. There's certain protocol and he's supposed to know that. He is the man in charge of security and you just go there unannounced. You have to understand that is to tell you the level of people we are putting in positions. There are protocol. You are a minister. You are a past minister. Everybody, right? I'm telling you something. In the minds of citizens of this country, they are thinking adverse. Maybe he went there to retrieve documents that could implicate him in some crime or something like that. That is how the minds of people are. Maybe it could have been the other way around. We don't know. But you know what sells? What sells via the newspaper? My friends, my dear brothers of Trinidad and Tobago and sisters of Trinidad and Tobago, what sells is negativity. You advertise something that is negative, you're going to realize that everybody grab it. Hey, you didn't hear that? You didn't see that? Watch that show. You know why? Because you know what that show have? That show have maligning people character. It had jealousy, envy, and all those things happening in that show. Watch that show. Mamagism. People being conned, people being fooled. So I want to tell you all, Trinidad and Tobago, you have a voice. This is your voice, 3722129. Maybe you have attended a function. You have attended a function, right? And again, the India High Commission, those of you who don't know, the India High Commission, they would go to these kind of festival. Is there a Pakistani or anything that is Islamically oriented embassies in our country? And you're going to find out maybe no. But really and truly, India is predominantly Hindus. And if they would like to portray via their embassy the Hindu culture or the Hindu diaspora, nothing is wrong with that. We can't fight that. We cannot fight that. And that's the reason why I would call on the government of the day, the Honorable Kamak Prasad Bissessa, who is the Prime Minister of the country, to understand that, you know what, here, there are people who are going to be adverse, there are people who are going to be positive, there are people who are going to be negative. You have to continue. I think that she's taking the correct initiative where she said, you know, last term, many of you took my kindness for weakness. I'm not going to be like that. And I seen that happening because she's taking a vociferous kind of attitude when it comes to governance right now. I heard this during the course of the week. A person was talking about, and this is the kind of blogger now, there's blogger who all the time they were silent, maybe they were silent for a certain reason. Now is the time that they get voice, right? They get their voice now, and they're talking about Kamala Prasad is too old to be a prime minister. Hey, let me tell you something. Roxo, the prime minister, she made efforts, she made sacrifice, and she was the prime. Many of us, even in this program, at one point in time, we thought maybe she would never make it. But I tell you something, the tide turned. People were asking, we were asking the question in this very sad show, where it is that she's going to get the next 3 seats. And we saw because of the misdemeanor, because of the bad management, because of the bad performance of the PNM government, people ran away from that government. And I tell you something, they gravitated to the United National Congress for better, proper representation. Right? And I think that that is what they're going to get. And I do hope and pray that those of you who maybe share that type of vision, continue supporting and try to see how we could really and truly uplift our country and get our country moving forward. Let's take a break, Director.
Welcome to Island Express Hardware, where we work with your budget. We supply all paints, all brands, and all sizes. And we are of course the cheapest in Trinidad. We also supply pumps and water tanks, and we also have them in combo deals. Visit us for the best friendly customer service. Need steel, beams, and purlins? We got that. We have top quality lats and boxing board, plyboards, gypsum boards, you name it. Do you love to fish? Have no fear, cause we have all the gears. Visit Island Express Hardware today, located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas.
Okay, my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, welcome back to our program Hardfacts that is aired Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. I am your host, Imam Rashid Karim. And my friends, I am here week after week, trying my best to see how, really and truly we can do things that could make a difference. And Director, I want you to pull some of those clips when it comes to crime. It seems as though crime has really and truly spiraled. Look and see what is going on. Man in custody for murder of Faizabad taxi driver. That is the guy we talk about. Venezuela national killed in Mayaro. Right? Woman abducted, beaten by male relative and his new girlfriend. A new trend taking place. Bringing a woman in the house, beat the next one, get rid of the next one. Landlord gets 4 years in jail for illegal gun. Right? Again, my friends, you can't just say you want a gun. The Honorable Kamala Prasad had made it abundantly clear that if you all are qualified, you have to be qualified. Not every Tom, Dick and Harry going to make application. Then you know what is going to happen? We're going to have 500,000 applications for firearms. That is the reason why we have to narrow it down. There is a newspaper, there's programs where you can highlight that if you are a business person, right? You are a person who have a business, or you are a farmer or whatever, put down some rules and regulations, because you know what is going to happen? Every Tom, Dick and Harry is going to apply for a firearm. And what is going to happen? The legitimate, bona fide individuals who requested a firearm maybe for the past 15 years and it was getting cobweb in the commissioner's office, that has to be the first sets of files to take out would have been those files. You can't have new files, people. I mean, that is how unfair things are. Yeah? In this country, we tell you all over and over and over. We tell you this. It is not who you know. It is who know you. It is who know you, and that is how people get things, you know, they get favor. Like I told you all, one sister, she died now, may God bless her, wherever she may be. What I'm saying, she applied for a water connection many years. Many years she applied for a water connection, and she never got the water connection. And she told me that someone came to her as a neighbor, close to her, I think one house after her, and that person got water. And you know what they were saying? They were saying the distance. They were saying this, that the distance to the lady property, the first lady property, is too far off the main road. But another person coming there after, who lives one lot or two lot down the road, they get water connection faster than she. So the point here is something not adding up. Something not adding up, and we on this program, we are going to identify. The first thing that we are calling for the Commissioner of Police, whoever the Commissioner of Police is, at this point in time, because we know for a fact that Ola was given the green light, and maybe she would have come back in position. Maybe she could have come back in her position. We don't know. That it seems that communication went dead. We don't know what is going on. We know that the courts have given her the leeway where she can really and truly, no charges was laid against her. Right? And again, my friends, it clearly indicates that the position of commissioner will go back to Ola. But again, you know something? When we look at what has transpired just in about a couple of months' time, when we look at the misappropriation when it comes to police charging people for unlawful arrests and unlawful this and unlawful that, and people are taking, you know, the government to task, and so many millions of dollars are being paid for wrongful arrests. Right? We are talking about, I'm telling you this, the Commissioner of Police, the whole world, I'm not talking about Trinidad, because if something happened in Trinidad today, the world know it in 10 seconds. So the whole world knew that the Commissioner of Police in Trinidad and Tobago was sacked. And there was reason for that, and that would have been, it was identified. I don't want to really call it on this program. But again, now her name was cleared, charges will drop or whatever, then she is going to take the relevant agencies to task. For what? For her character. Very important. Very important. I tell you something, that case is going to be lost because it's going to be wrongful arrest. And millions of dollars is going to be paid out to Ola Christopher. So Trinidad and Tobago, let me tell you all something. We are in for a little rough ride. And you all have to stand up. If the government is doing the right thing, we support the government. Anytime the government is not doing the right thing, we find out the reason for it. We just can't say, well, they promised this. Like, for example, they promised thinking that the government, the treasury had monies. Now, when you go down there, the treasury doesn't have any money, and there's $150 billion in deficits. What is going to happen? Where those monies are going to come from? So, my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, we are really and truly in for maybe a bumpy ride. And we ask you all to get down, stand your grounds, and get your act in order. Right? Get your act in order. Because the murder rate in the country was 160 on Wednesday. And today is Saturday, you're talking about at least 10 persons died. At least 10 persons died. Where is the figures? Why it is that the TTSP and those agencies that really and truly document the amount of murders that is taking place in our country, why those figures are concealed? Why people are not hearing about them? Because last week, from Wednesday to Saturday, we saw at least 5 or 6 people getting killed in our country. You understand? So things has to happen in a manner that people will understand what is going on. You understand? So again, my friends, infrastructure, very important. Infrastructure, very important. We're talking about this. And I want
public members don't want people to know that we are renting your building, that the government is renting your building with taxpayers' money. Well, too bad for you. Don't rent out your building. Do not rent out your building if you don't want people to know that you are renting your building to the government. Simple as that. So don't come and cry and plead privacy. There's no privacy when we're spending taxpayer dollars. There can be no defense of privacy. You don't want your name out there, no. And I'm coming for those Eaterfield lawyers soon, you know. You'll be amazed at the amount of money being spent, but you can't give us a name. You can't tell us what they did for the millions of dollars they're collecting, because why privacy rights? When you are collecting taxpayers' dollars are public monies, and therefore you cannot use a defense of privacy. So we will...
Okay, so Director, you all are seeing for your own self, and the people outside there, people are understanding exactly what we are highlighting on this program. Imagine $500 million was spent on rental and renting of properties in our country, right? And even so much so, it has been rented, but people do not want their names to be identified. They want to collect the monies, but they don't want their companies or their names to be maybe on the contract or whatever. Now that again is something, because how would you know if there's a conflict of interest? The majority, let me tell you something, in this country, in other parts of the world, maybe it's the very sad thing. For you to get a government contract, I am telling you this, and who vex laws, for you to get a government contract, you have to know somebody. Chances are you're going to tender, your prices is going to be good. You're going to have a boss price for the same job. And chances are people are going to get $1 million, $2 million, $5 million more than you. Why? Because they know somebody. That is how things run in a country. It might not be happening now, but again, my friends, these are the things that we saw happening. People came to me and they said to me, Imam, look, I tendered for that job. I tendered for this. I tendered for this. Look at my price. And the government award the tender. And you know something? There's a clause. There's many clauses, not one, that tell you that you pay your monies and so forth. And if you do not get the contract, then the monies that you put forward, you're not going to get it. Just like, if you apply for an American visa or a Canadian visa or something like that, right? And you spend your monies, or even now a British visa, England visa, my friends, you pay that money, whether it be £150, and chances are you do not get your visa, you are not getting any rebate. You understand? So again, when it comes to government, you applying whether to rent a business or a building for the government of the day, people have to know, the taxpayers have to know who renting this. Because what is going to happen, maybe chances are, and I'm just saying it, maybe chances are, the very said people who are renting those buildings for the government, like what we have seen in the past, a certain minister, his income that has been generated every month would have been $20 million. And you calculate 20 by 12 months, right? $240 million that individual is collecting. And that is only one property. What about the many other properties that house government buildings? And I would advise the Prime Minister, there are many buildings, whether it be central or south, that can house and they can decentralize. They can decentralize many of those offices that is being rented at this point in time. Why it is that a man or a woman or somebody doing a business and they have to go in Port of Spain for everything? Why? Central is not good. San Fernando is not good. Why it is that people who are, they are seeking education, whether it be a law degree or whether it be medical or whatever, right? They are engineering, whatever, right? They have to find themselves to St. Augustine. And what the Prime Minister is saying is the correct thing. You have to start decentralizing. You have to start, and we talk about traffic congestion. A man from San Fernando have to do business in Port of Spain for 8 o'clock. He has to leave home 4 o'clock in the morning. And that we're talking about now. We're not talking about when the highway was being constructed. Because everybody wants to reach there first. Everybody wants to be there first. And then for you to get parking in Port of Spain, because when you look on the highway and you watch every vehicle that is going up to Port of Spain, especially the private vehicles, you're going to realize that it only have one person. Only the driver, nobody else. And that is simply because people are not, they doesn't feel safe. They doesn't feel safe with the public transport in our country. And nothing is being devised, whether a smaller bus, because people who work in maybe in government offices, right? They don't want to travel in a bus where it have 52 people, and out of that 52 people, it have 5 people who still drunk. Why? Because maybe they have a free bus pass, and they just want to sit down, they have time to kill, so they take the prime spot, they take a bus pass, they swipe a bus pass, the driver can't tell them anything, the driver know what is going on, that bus is being utilized as, you know what, as a rest house. All these things are happening, and we have to be real. There are people doing that. They get up in the morning, pack a bag, and they go point. They go point 14 where? They go in a picnic. Right? After they come back, they go the next day, they go somewhere else. I'm not angry with that. But what I'm saying is that there are people who really and truly wants to use the public transport legitimately. So I think that, you know, a different calibre, if you want to call it, executive transport service by the government should be provided, that people would feel safe, you understand? And they would be able to pay the little extra, because when you look that a vehicle from an individual vehicle coming from San Fernando to Port of Spain, it is going to cost at least $100 per day. Because you have to pay for parking, you have to pay for gas, right? You have to pay for those things. Those things are not free. And when you're going back, we're talking about 50 in, 50 out, right? So if a person is paying $100 to go to Port of Spain, you think that person would not feel safe that if you have to pay $45 or $50 with a bus to and fro in a more executive styling? I remember this. There was an executive shuttle service. Where are those things? I do hope and pray that the government of the day will reinitiate and do some, you know, forensic on all those buses and all those, you know, transportation system. Like, for example, you know how much monies, that water taxi, you know how much monies was wasted there? Man, if we had a talk here on this program, we cannot finish talking, you know, because a lot of things happened in this past 10 years that people just stay quiet. They just get frustrated, fed up, and they stay quiet, and they don't even want to talk about it. So again, my friends, the crime situation in our country at this point in time, my friends, it has blown out of proportion. And I would say all hands on deck. People have to come on board and try to notify and assist the police service when it comes to that. Right? That's number 2. We're talking about the economy. The economy at this point in time. Right? You know something? The government of the day has to look into it. Right? Why it is that a container come with your goods and it is lying in the port. It is lying in the port there for 1 month. People have to pay demurrage. They have to pay all these taxes. When that container is cleared, the kind of monies and increases and taxes that the individual has to pay, my friends, who do you think is going to pay for that? Who is going to pay for that? The hard-working citizens of our country. And you hear the word I use? The hard-working citizens of our country, they are going to pay for that, because these are the ones who work in, these are the ones who have money, and these are the ones who have the capability to buy or purchase any stuff. So my friends, those of you who are locked on, 3722129, there are two things that is happening in our country. The Muslim Credit Union, director, pull up a for me. The Muslim Credit Union, they are having the Muslim Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. They are having a car rally. That is tomorrow, Sunday, the 1st of June, starting time 7:30 in the morning, right? And that is going to start from Monroe Road. Director, you could just expand that a bit for me, or maybe meeting place, right? Meeting place is Monroe Road Masjid at 7:30 a.m. Vehicle inspections and briefing will take place, and the rally leaves promptly at 9 a.m. Finishing point is La Vega Nature Park, right? And the costing is $30, park entrance fee not included, right? So that's a corridor competition that is taking place tomorrow under the auspices of the MCU, the Muslim Credit Union Cooperative Society. Now the IFST, that's the Islamic Fidel Services Trust. Those of you who were here at the Felicity venue, IFST Eid Dinner 2025. The venue is the Felicity Banquet Hall. I think you spelled the hall wrong, the director. Right? The Felicity Banquet Hall. June, that is Sunday, June the 22nd at 3 p.m. Starting time 3 p.m. And that is located just across here on Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity. If you are interested in tickets, you can call me at 308-5318. That's the number you can call to book your tickets. And we have people already booking tickets. Some people are booking 6, some are booking 4. Those of you who were part and parcel of the Eid dinner, you're going to realize really and truly it's not a fundraiser. It is not a fundraiser because nowhere you're getting a Eid dinner ticket for $125, where the menu would be curry duck, curry goat, stew chicken, roti rice, right? And then you're going to get the normal potatoes, get salad. You're going to get, some rice, some dal, because some people don't eat flour, so we have to cater for them. And again, you're going to have your dessert, ice cream and cake, and you're going to have maybe some korma or something like that. So my friends, those of you who are really and truly who participated with us, that is the Islamic Fidel Services Trust. You can call 372-2129, that's the studio number, or you can call again, put back the ad director, so that you can call the number again. That's the Islamic Fidel Services Trust. Eid dinners, that as the venue will be right here in this compound on Sunday the 22nd of January at 3 p.m. At 3 p.m. Venue Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity. Tickets are available. Call me at 308-5318. And that is the Felicity Banquet Hall. Spacious and air-conditioned facility, secure parking. Come down here. You're going to have some entertainment. You're going to have some casitas. You're going to have you're going to get some information. You're going to get a message. You're going to get some information from the board of directors. So again, those of you who are locked on, 372-2129. That's the number you can call me. Director, make sure that the phone lines are working, please. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to continue on our program.
The Island Express Hardware, where we work with your budget. We supply all paints, all brands, and all sizes. And we are of course the cheapest in Trinidad. We also supply pumps and water tanks, and we also have them in combo deals. Visit us for the best friendly customer service. Need steel, beams, and purlins? We got that. We have top quality lats and boxing board, plyboards, gypsum boards, you name it. Do you love to fish? Have no fear, cause we have all the gears. Visit Island Express Hardware today, located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity, Shogunas. Welcome to Felicity Banquet Hall, where unforgettable memories are made. Whether you're planning a wedding, birthday party, corporate meeting, or any special gathering. Why choose us? We are spacious, elegant, and fully air-conditioned hall. Customizable seating for up to 200 guests. Beautiful decor and lighting options. On-site kitchen and catering services. We are available 7 days a week. Located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity, Shogunas. Call the number on the screen today and book now.
Okay, my friends, pleasant good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. For those of you who have now joined in our program, really and truly, this is the last segment of our program, the last part of our program here. And I just want to mention a couple of things so that you all, those of you who are locked on, can really and truly, identify with me. As I said before, we are really and truly a community-based media house, where we try to uplift, we try to elevate the status quo of the different communities, where we identify the things that is happening for development, inshallah. All right? So those of you who have any invitation that you all would like us to read, like for example, the MCU, the Muslim Credit Union Society of Trinidad and Tobago, they are having a car rally starting time 7 a.m. tomorrow. That is tomorrow, starting from Monroe Road Masjid Car Park. And then they're going to be moving around. The rally is going to continue and end at the nature park in La Vega. That's in Cuba side there, right? So again, those of you who are interested and those of you who would like to really and truly be part and parcel of a really and truly good, peaceful event can really and truly go tomorrow and participate. It's a corridor competition where you can, you're going to get prizes and so forth. So that's one. And the second one is the Islamic Fidel Services Trust. And that is the IFSC. Originally, it would have been the Islamic Funeral Service Trust. But again, we move away from that and we are doing other things because presently we are setting up a home for the aged. We are setting up a home for the destitute, the widows, the orphans, and so forth. We are setting that home is on the way, right? Where we are going to house people. We are going to house people at the minimal costing, bare costing. Right, where you can get, you can get a room, you can get a space, you can get attention from doctors, nurses, and orderlies. You're going to get proper meals, dietitians, and so forth. They are going to be incorporated. And one of the enhancement of that home that we are setting up is that families can be able to WhatsApp their loved ones at different time. Maybe in the evening time, maybe you would like to communicate via chat or something like that. You can be able to call your families and find out, the status quo. If you have family living abroad and you would like to communicate with them, you would have that opportunity. Because a lot of people, right, their parents are here, they are living in America, they are living in Canada, they are living in other parts of the world, and they want to ensure that their families are taken care of properly. This place is going to be a place for you all to take care of your family. And I tell you something, the board of directors of the IFSC, we have sat down, and you know something? We have some rules and regulation, but one of the major rules and regulation in that building, in that enterprise, in that facility is going to be one word. And that one word is kindness. Kindness. We would like, because we have been reading worldwide, we have been seeing on the social media that sometimes you enroll, you send your loved ones, your parents to those types of homes, and you are seeing on Facebook and via camera system and all these things that they are being beaten, they are being starved, they are being brutalized, and they are being ill-treated in other words. We are saying, the board of directors, we have taken an initiative that one word, kindness. That word is the motto of our home, whereby we are going to show kindness to our elders and even so much so our youngsters. This is the mandate of the IFSC, new program that is going to be initiated in a short while. Right? We have been communicating with the past government and we have not reached anywhere. Right? So we have now, at this point in time, the board of directors, we are reinitiating communication with this government. Right? We are asking and we are requesting for guidelines and we are requesting for assistance when it comes to that aspect of it, because a lot of people are on the streets. A lot of people are maybe are not taken care of properly, and we would like to render our assistance when it comes to governance, ensuring that the elderlies and the youngsters in our society are really and truly looked after. We can't see about the whole world. We might not be able to take care of whole of Trinidad. Because I tell you something, when you look at what is happening in the whole entire world today, you're going to realize that it seems as though animals are treated better than human beings. I want you all to digest that a little bit. You are seeing today, when you look at what is happening, there are people who take care of their dogs better than their own families. And that is something that should not be, right? It should not be like that. Especially people who work hard, educate their children, and they ensure that their children became, proper citizens in our society. You know what? We're supposed to be giving back to these people. And I'm sure that the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa and her government is going to initiate in the near future things like that, where we can be able to identify and assist those persons who are challenged, whether it be by poverty and so forth. We are willing to work with that sector and that segment, inshallah. All right. So again, my friends, those of you who are locked on, yesterday was Arrival Day. Yesterday was Arrival Day, Indian Arrival Day, right? And you know something? After reflection, after reflecting and understanding. People really, do you understand where our forefathers came from? Have you ever thought about it? A lot of people, when they migrated, I want to let you all know, I put in a community-based segment now, where we'll talk about, community and where the East Indian diaspora came from. And they came from India. Many of those persons who came here, right, they left their loved ones at home. Some would have left their little children at home, and they never returned back. You see, people don't understand the sacrifice that our forefathers gave. People would, say that, this and that and the next. They would think shallow-minded. But I want you all to throw your mind back at the Fatal Razak and understand the gravity and the gravity of that situation, where it would have taken, in many cases, up to 2.5 months for the journey from India to come to Trinidad. And I tell you something, if you all read, that book by Dr. Brinsley Samaru, you're going to realize, you'll understand, you're going to get information that is most relevant, that is most inspiring, right? People don't understand this. Your forefathers, they were not free. When they entered that boat, they had to be restrained, simply because, sometimes, because many of the people would have gone in one side of the ship, and others may go to the other side of the ship, and it caused maybe an imbalance. So for protection-wise, our forefathers, they had to be chained so that they could, the captain of that ship would ensure that the boat would have been in a level status. Because if that wasn't done, as I said before, chances are majority of the people could be on one side of the boat, and the boat might turn over and all these things. So you have to read that book. You have to understand that book. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you all something. When they came here, right? When our forefathers came there, they were promised a lot of things, But I tell you something, when our forefathers came, they came with their culture, right? They came here with their jaji bundle. That jaji bundle doesn't only mean clothes. It means that some of those people, as I said yesterday in my program, some of those people, they bring seedlings. They bring flowers, they bring plants and all these things. They brought those things with them. That's the reason why today, we can safely say that those people who travel to India, they could safely say, well, in Trinidad we have something like that. We have a plant like that. We have this like that. And that was because of the sacrifice that was made by those people. You classify them as indentured laborers. Indentured laborers, they were just a bit, maybe a bit liberated. But when they came here, they were just like slaves. They were treated just like slaves. They were pressured in the fields. They were given little or no or menial sustenance. You understand? So a lot of things. They were living in cramped barracks. People don't understand these things. That's the reason why Indian Arrival Day is not going in a restaurant or going in a place and have a hearty meal and listen to some songs and dance, if the case may be, or beat some drums or something. No, that is not Indian Arrival Day. Indian Arrival Day is a day of reflection, where you reflect on your past, understand where you came from, and if you understand where you came from, you will know exactly where you're going. But people want to know where they're going, but they don't understand where they came from. And that's the problem here today again. Before I close this program here today, I want to just remind you all, yes, we are arrived. We have arrived. Yeah, we have arrived in this country. But all of us, we have to depart this world. We have to depart from this. What about our departure? What about our departing this world? Are you making any preparation? And that's the reason why today, before you commit a crime, before you lift your voice, before you aggravate people, before you do things that is of a menace or a threat to people, why can't you utilize your time understanding this? Yes, we arrived. We came from India. Our forefathers came from India. But we are going to live here for a period of time, and then we're going to depart from this world and go somewhere else. Are we making any preparation for that journey ahead of us? So my friends, again, how can these things really and truly be in the forefront of our minds? We have to be tutored. We have to be nurtured. And I am making a clarion call here that the government of the day needs to bring back religious instruction in the schools in our country. You see this thing called religious instruction? I know that the non-governmental schools, that would have been the Ashra, the Sanatan Dharma Mahasabha, the Roman Catholic, and all these different schools, that is in non-governmental schools, in the true sense of the word, they would have initiated their program. But I would like the government of the day to mandate that it be part and parcel of the curriculum, where a person is paid to teach those things as a syllabus in the schools, that especially things like morality, things like spirituality, and things that could really and truly develop and better our children, our student minds. When religion is taken away from the minds of our students, you know what? Evil is cultivated, right? Evil is cultivated in the minds of our children. And what they do when they come out of the school system, they express what they have learned in a manner that is really and truly negatively oriented. Unlike when it was in the time of the olden days, where they would have religious instructions being taught and things in the different schools. So I'm making a clarion call on this program here. And I tell you something, people are listening. People are listening because just last week, or the week before, I can't remember which, last week or the week before, I made a clarion call that there should be a day where you can go and meet your minister. Meet your minister. And lo and behold, right? Lo and behold, we saw that the Komoto Mansalina area, they are having a meet your minister, meeting with your minister of agriculture. So people are listening. People are listening, and I don't want to tap in my shoulder, because that is what's supposed to be done. Everybody should be meeting their ministers at a certain point in time and bring forward, the initiative that they have, so that the ministers now can be able to correspond with them. And if it is valuable for the country building, my friends, that is going to happen. So again, those of you who are locked on, I want to thank you all very, very much. Thank you all for calling, those of you who call, those of you who text. And we ask you all to stay tuned to our program Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, where we continue highlighting and we promoting, we're promoting good governance, number one, and we're promoting, my friends, good morality for our country. And we identifying again, my friends, means and methods that could uplift the citizens of our country, Trinidad and Tobago. I am your host, Imam Rashid Karim, and my friends, I thank you all very, very much. May God Almighty bless you all, and until Monday, may God keep us all safe.